Previously on The Romance in Stargirl. So if Courtney wants to choose Cameron over the three of you douchebags, then all the power to her.
Wanted to come by and tell you
that Cameron is such a nice young man.
He sure is. Good kid.
Well, your daughter is...
I think she's very special too.
Special how?
That's my dad.
Oh. Ooh. I was hoping for your mom. That came out wrong, but you know what I meant. Hello, I wanted to explain things before we get into the episodes. In case you didn't notice in the title of the video, this video is going to be covering both episodes 7 and 8 of Season 3 of Stargirl for a few different reasons. Number one, I'm sick, so I didn't want to have my commentary for episode 8 carry the whole video. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be saying throughout episode 8. Number two, there wasn't that much actual romance between episodes 7 and 8 because they sort of focus on this side story that has nothing to do with Cameron or some of the characters that I tend to talk more about. So I decided to just make one video for both episodes. Also, I got a bit late with editing the footage of Season 3, Episode 7, so I just figured why not just shove it into the same video and make that Part 7. So to avoid confusion, the next video I make about Stargirl is going to be The Romance in Stargirl Part 8, but that video is going to be covering Season 3, Episode 9. So I hope that's not confusing. Up until now, it's just been parts, insert number here, has been talking about episodes, same number there. Thankfully, I was not sick when I did my analysis of episode 7. You can watch that goodness, and I did make a few jokes here and there, even though there wasn't much romance to talk about. So enjoy that, and then we'll come back to present day sick me when we're done with episode 7. Welcome to Couple Reviews, where the host only got a few hours of sleep last night. I'm pretty sure what happened was I just got too much sleep the night before that, so it caught up to me now. I'm running on just a few hours of sleep, so this video might be interesting. Wait, I did not want closed captioning. What are you doing? What are you doing? Right.
I found something I think he found.
I had hoped to spend time in Blue Valley, but I'm afraid you made it intolerable.
Is the Shade going to come back and drink more tea? Please?
And you made that decision by yourself, when all of us who are a team are at risk.
Well, her team sucks.
I am cooking you dinner.
Danny, if we're caught, I already disabled the alarm.
I just wanted to give you one night where we weren't living like street rats.
Did you just make the first gay couple in this show cat burglars? How did that say? Came into focus with such a small time window. Happy birthday to you and your sister. We're going to find Tenny. I hate you, Danny. Oh, it just showed it again. I didn't need... Okay. Listen, this guy and his boyfriend are breaking into places and eating meals where they're not permitted to be in after they're closed. So I'm just going to hate them the same as I would a straight couple doing the same things. No special treatment. If a straight couple was doing that, I would hate them, so I'm going to hate them. That's how that works. Arrest them, officers.
Come on, you go.
Todd, no, come on!
I can't go.
You gotta pay your debt to society. He did it, officer.
Table for two?
That wasn't even funny.
You Todd Rice?
You been looking for him?
You're Todd Rice, yeah?
How do you know my name?
You're not police officers. You're working for Mr. Bones.
Rest assured, you're safe.
As safe as you deserve to be, probably.
Who are those cops?
Those weren't cops. I mean, they could be cops that have been paid off, so maybe they are cops, I don't know. What are we upset about? Oh, the cameras, right. They just found out that there's cameras in their house. Poor Barbara. She didn't ask for this life.
Yes, please, Father.
Would you prefer a leg? Perhaps a thigh?
Perhaps a thigh would suffice.
If I was surveilling them, I would know that something's definitely wrong with Mike. He's being way too polite.
How was school?
Boring as usual. Class, homework,
Cameron
friends.
and Cameron.
Everything is fine.
Well, you don't have friends anymore now that everyone who called themselves your friend betrayed you, except for Sylvester. He's his friend. I mean, if you count, if boyfriends count as friends, then you have Cameron too.
Michael, would you lead us in grace, please?
What?
This should be good.
Forget it, I got it. Grade 1.
But he didn't. Don't skip to a different scene. He wasn't finished saying grace. They only ever show Yolanda at church. They sort of have these vague implications here and there that Courtney and at least Pat might also be a Christian. I don't know if they go to church like Yolanda does. Maybe they're just sort of like casual Christians, perhaps. I think there's been vague implications that Courtney is a Christian too. They haven't really been explicit about her specifically. I think Pat, given the fact they just initiate saying grace, I'm guessing that he's a Christian, and probably most Christians want to marry other Christians, so I'm assuming that the whole family is. Now I said at the end of my last Stargirl video that they already showed his face and yet they're building up a face reveal. It could be that either the guy in this chair is someone else or he looks different now because he's further mutated, because we just saw him in a flashback too. So what would the point be of hiding him like this, unless it's just so they don't have to spend more money on CGI. But if I didn't have that to take into account, I would say something's got to be different. And that constant gravelly breathing was not something I noticed from him in those other scenes with Mr. Bones.
I think he'll be taking home the Oscar for Best Performance of Playing It Cool.
Isn't trying to act normal under extremely stressful circumstances what waitresses do every day? Well, every work day, I mean.
Hi, Mom. So, you're actually there this time.
What do you mean? Of course I am.
What do you mean? Of course I am.
I called to tell Maria not to schedule you for so many late shifts.
And do you know what she said? This is the first late shift you've done all month.
What have you been doing at night, Yolanda? Who have you been with?
That looks really bad. Okay. So what just happened there, I don't know if I edited much of it out, but what happened was she's been doing superhero stuff late at night, and her mom thought that it was because she was working late shifts, but now she's finding out it hasn't been happening. So now she thinks that she's been out late with a boy, possibly getting pregnant, definitely giving him 1,000 nude pictures, probably. That's what she's thinking.
Maybe it was better Sharp found the cameras first. You know what I'm saying? Considering he was murdered for it.
And since you found the cameras, you too will be murdered.
Just a few more minutes, then Operation Blackout Bomb goes into action.
Blackout Bomb? What are you about to do to the city?
With liberty and justice for all. Please begin.
You did it that whole time.
You are going straight to Father Thomas tomorrow, Yolanda.
I mean, isn't she going to Father Thomas every day? Sounds like a relatively tame punishment to me.
The Studebaker that was stolen off the lot a few days prior. Now, we don't know who took it. We could.
They picked the perfect person to sit there and listen to stories the whole time. Rick's just doing everything he can just to distract himself.
But the lesson that day was don't spy on people.
Are they even pretending not to know anymore? That table's doing a pretty bad job of it.
Beth, it's do or die here.
3, 2, 1.
Die! You're blacking out the whole city? You're blacking out the whole city?
Let's do this.
Find the cameras.
Take them down.
But you worked so hard on that puzzle. This blackout had better not last for more than a few minutes, because if not, there's gonna be riots and murders and lootings and spoiled foods in the refrigerator and people holding hands around candles. You don't want that.
I wonder what Courtney thinks.
I wonder if she still even wants to be Stargirl.
Excuse you? Yes, she doesn't want to be a part of the team right now because you've made it so excruciating for her to be a part of the team, not because she doesn't like being Stargirl.
Did you turn over your hourglass just for that?
I don't have to anymore. Took off the limiter, now it works 24/7. Watch this.
What are you doing?
Rick, you are officially not a superhero anymore. They want to push this plot line that he's wrong to have superpowers all the time and as opposed to just for an hour. They said that his dad put in the limiters when he was using it so that he wouldn't become corrupted by more than an hour of super strength a day. That's, by that same logic, why is not every superhero with superpowers getting corrupted by having superpowers all the time? This doesn't make any sense. This is literally just Rick being a jerk, but they're just gonna blame it on the lack of an inhibitor.
You okay?
Yeah, Sylvester's plan is good.
I don't mean with the plan. I mean, are you okay with everything else?
No.
I screwed up by keeping what was happening with Cameron to myself, and now Cindy's gone along with any credibility I had as the leader of the JSA.
And you think that's legitimately your fault? You poor gaslit little chipmunk. What have they done to you that actually convinced you that this is your fault?
Hey, Starman's not the one who recruited him. And he's not the one who made those kids grow into who they are today.
Well, who they are today is not much for bragging rights.
Ah, Miss Whitmore, just who I need. I require your services. I need Courtney Whitmore.
Courtney!
Well, that was direct.
Beth didn't find any in my bedroom, thank God, but I'm checking just to make...
Yeah, you have enough nudes out there.
Oh, can you check the church too? The confessional?
Yeah, if you're not at the dining room, you're at the confessional.
¿Qué es? Muchachos, narcóticos? ¿O peor?
I have done nothing wrong. I am old enough to live my own life, and if you love me, you'll trust me.
Trust you after everything you've done.
After everything she's done, she had one slip up. One time. What are you talking about, everything she's done? What else is there?
What else is there?
Give me your phone right this minute, or get out of this house.
Whoa, really? Really? You know, normally I'd say, well, she could probably just move in with Courtney, but that's bad timing for that. Bet you wish you didn't say certain things about Cameron right about now.
I finally found my brother, Courtney. And he needs our help.
Well, but do we need him, though? Well, that's what you get for breaking into places.
He has no control over that ring.
Because my ring was corrupted by the Shade's shadows. And now the darkness is leaking into it.
No, your light is leaking into my darkness.
You got peanut butter in my chocolate.
We just got a real peanut butter and chocolate type situation.
Well, excuse me for adding something you didn't need added.
I mean, how'd they get tied up together in the first place?
It was right before we defeated Eclipso. I thought the ring destroyed it, but the Shade thinks it was pulled into the ring instead.
But I broke free from Eclipso because I knew if I didn't, my friends and family would get hurt. What I'm saying is saving Todd might be the thing that lets her expel the darkness out of her ring.
I think he got it backwards.
6 months and it's only gotten worse.
And there he is again, and they keep not showing his face when he's in the chair, unless it's someone else. Now, they were saying that she's the reason why there's the link between the light and the shadow realm. Then what was with Todd shooting out the darkness when he was in that flashback?
Yes! Wish granted.
It's quite a collection of cameras.
You asked him for all the cameras, didn't you?
I wish for every camera that the gambler's killer ever touched.
Looks like a mistake to me.
Well, he must have just touched a lot of cameras.
Or maybe this is a clue on how the wishes work. It needs drive, passion, desire.
He's saying, think about Cindy. Oh, you are coming to stay with Courtney. Oh.
I know Courtney and I aren't really speaking, but
But you, Barbara, we've always had such a deep connection. They haven't not had such a deep connection.
I had nowhere else to go.
You know, Courtney never brings Cameron into her house anyway, so... That's always baffled me whenever in movies and TV shows, whenever they shoot the door panel, it always just does whatever they want it to do. When they want it to close the door, it closes the door. When they want it to open the door, it opens the door. When they want it to lock the door, it locks the door. Just shooting it just gives you your desired result. And the moral of the story is shooting things gives you the desired effect. If there's any problem you can't solve with bullets, you're not using enough bullets.
Your sister. Let's get him out of here.
No, you can't. If you take me out of this room, I'll destroy the world.
Okay, that looks pretty cool. If only they had a flare gun, according to Alan Wake, that would just instantly solve everything just with one shot. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think that was very romantic. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this. This is supposed to be a series called The Romance in Stargirl, and yet there's no romance in this episode of Stargirl for me to talk about. You know what I just did? I just said that this episode didn't have any romance when it literally introduced a new couple at the very beginning of the episode. Okay, yes, let's talk about that, I guess, even though there's so little of it. Well, obviously they're trying to point out flaws with foster system and getting help for people who don't have their financial stuff put together at their age, I guess. With Ginny, they showed her getting kicked out of the foster home because she aged out of it. And Todd, he might have left the foster system early for whatever reason. Maybe there was abuse, so that's why him and his boyfriend were... That might have been why him and his boyfriend were on the streets and breaking into places. So I get the reasoning behind it. It just introduced me to these new characters, and the first thing they do is break into a place and steal food, and then one of them disappears for the rest of the episode. They sort of had Todd be altruistic in the way he's willing to stay in the horrible place so he doesn't cause any damage to the rest of the world. So I guess he has a few points there. I don't know if they're gonna bring his boyfriend back at any point. I mean, they sort of want to do they're technically criminals, but they're criminals because they have it so rough, I guess. But I don't know if they really, I mean, did they really need to have, but was this really necessary when they are already doing such, I mean, they're already doing It's so hard to be in that post-foster homeless situation with Ginny. I think there was other things we could have done to help me be more sympathetic towards Todd, especially since his safety was the stakes of that whole subplot in this episode. Also, I am thinking that Mr. Bones just isn't the guy in the chair. Maybe that guy in the chair was making a puzzle that's inspired by Mr. Bones, but Mr. Bones was keeping his attention on Todd when he knew that when the guy in the chair knew that his cameras were taken down by the power shortage. And also, I'm thinking that the guy in the chair is probably nearer to them. He's probably set up in Blue Valley, while Mr. Bones was far enough away for the power outage to not affect him. And they already set up, in a previous episode, I think I edited it out, but they asked the Thunderbolts who is the killer. They said the killer has many names. Well, why would they tell the audience that when we've already heard Mr. Bones? So I'm pretty sure that this is some other guy. So as was discussed earlier, Sick Me is going to talk about Season 3, Episode 8. I've actually already seen this episode. I figured that there wouldn't be too much romance to talk about since this was part 2 of Infinity Inc., which this is kind of good timing, honestly. I mean, I'm glad I was not sick during parts 1 through 6. Those would have been bad times to be sick.
My ring was corrupted by the Shade's shadows, and now the darkness is leaking into it.
Jenny needs to exorcise the dark.
I put it in text earlier. I'm not sure how many of you actually read it, but I said in part 1 of the Romance in Stargirl that I wasn't sure how the Shade connected to the Green Lantern ring. I was completely forgetting about that scene in Season 2 where she zapped the dark blob thing and then it went into her ring. I completely forgot about that. Sorry.
Alan Scott's daughter has the power of light, but his son, for reasons I don't understand, has the power of the shadows.
Having seen the rest of this episode, I can tell you that they still have not provided an explanation for why he has a connection to the shadows.
It seems until Jenny's ring is freed from its corruption, I'm as useless as you.
Well, there are worse people to be as useless as.
What's wrong with you, Todd? You like boys? I run my group home for norm kids. You're filth, tainted. We're gonna fix your sins. I'll beat them out of you for as long as it takes.
See, why didn't I see that before I saw him breaking into a restaurant to steal food? I wonder how many times the show has shown Courtney waking up from sleeping. I feel like there's a lot of times we see her waking up or seeing her sleeping. Not complaining, just wondering how many times it's been.
Such disrespect.
Oh, you want to talk about disrespect? You said Todd wasn't here.
Yeah, and literally all of this could have been avoided if you just told the truth.
My dad... Pat, I think Todd sent him and the Shade into the Shadowlands.
It should have taken us somewhere else, because the diner is insignificant to me.
No, it's not. You love Maria and the tea she makes.
Well, what are you standing around for? Grab a wrench.
Dad? This room is designed for your protection, and ours. The walls are coated with an energy-diffusing polymer.
And you didn't make it yellow? That would have been... If any of you don't know, in the comic books, that used to be the case that Green Lantern's ring didn't work on anything that was yellow.
You should have brought me and your mom closer together,
That's
but instead,
not his job.
she pushed me away. I was never proud call you my son.
This is the Shadowlands, a nightmare version of the people in our lives. It twists their words.
No, not this time, Shade. My real father spoke every word of this.
He said that he was never proud of you? That's harsh.
You've never been a standout, a leader.
Well, he is now.
Still miss you, Pop.
Don't ignore me.
I know this is an odd thing to point out, especially when you have this supposedly emotional scene going on, but the CW symbol, I could have sworn that it was lower when I watched this episode yesterday.
Don't ignore me.
Like, some of it was below the edge of the actual content. Some of it was in the black zone at the bottom. I'm not sure what you call that, actually. But now it's back up there where it usually was with the other episodes. And I thought it was weird when it was lower because in the past few episodes, it had been at the same height it is right now.
Don't ignore me.
But I specifically remember it being lower when I watched the same episode. It's weird. But they must have changed it. I'm just not sure why that is.
Have you been watching us?
Funny how this show has better Funny how Mr. Bones looks better than any of the CGI characters in She-Hulk.
I am as cursed as Jenny and Todd. Unlike you and your friends, we were born this way. Here at Helix, we help those like us learn to live a life of isolation. We help our patients survive the only way they can.
I don't want to survive. I want to live.
My power, Jenny's, it all reacts to how we feel. That's why I think Todd's connection with Jenny is the only thing that can save him. Life isn't about living in isolation. It can't be.
If you're wrong, we all
they do
die.
a really good job with this guy's CGI. They even have the light going through his nose and light from so many different angles bouncing off him perfectly. Yeah, shout out to those animators because he's looking good. I think he might be the best CGI character they've done on the show so far. I was talking with someone earlier and I said something like, it could just be that the reason why the CG in She-Hulk is so bad is just because of the work ethic that they had working on that horrible show. I said, if I was working on She-Hulk, I wouldn't try either, and that's probably why the CG is so bad. But if I was working on Mr. Bones and Stargirl, then of course I would try. To everybody who wants a good show about a female superhero, stop watching She-Hulk and start watching Stargirl.
He does everything he can to get your attention.
You don't see Mike at all. So like you, he feels worthless.
Well, they're kind of right, though, in this particular instance.
She'll never really be his mom.
Well, that's not true. We even had her... Barbara is on record saying that Mike is her son, so that's that. Well, Pat wasn't there to hear that, but still, you and I know the truth about Barbara and Mike.
Mike thinks about his mom every day. He doesn't say it.
Does he? I mean, we never seen any implications that Meg thinks about his biological mom.
One day, I'm gonna hate you as much as you hate your dad.
I don't hate him, Mike.
That's good. Don't give in. And we'll be out.
Don't give in to hate. That leads to the dark side, which you're kind of currently in. Well, I mean, not giving in to hate leads out of the dark side, I think.
What if I hurt him again? Do you want to hurt him? Then you won't.
Well, she didn't want to hurt him last time, and she did. The one thing that bothers me... No. Well, no, I don't think it really it should bother me. I was thinking Mr. Bones was saying that the two of them should be separated so that their dark and lights doesn't cause catastrophe in the same place. But Courtney was saying that they should get Todd to calm down by bringing Jenny to him and having the power of family love save the day. And Mr. Bones said, if you're wrong, we're all gonna die. At first I was thinking, well, shouldn't you evacuate the building just in case this goes wrong? But if it went wrong, they were saying that the whole world would be destroyed, so it wouldn't matter if they evacuated. You got the peanut butter out of my chocolate. Hooray!
I could die going back into that fire!
Hey, you either die in here or you die trying. Pick one!
And the award for best motivational speech goes to Pat. And it seems they got the chocolate out of his peanut butter.
Where's the skeleton guy?
He's calming some of our other patients.
Also, he's hard to animate.
What you're doing here isn't right.
All of our patients are free to go anytime they wish. No one is being held against their will.
That's news.
That's actually true, Courtney.
Even so, spying on us like you've been doing?
Spying on you.
The cameras you put up all over Blue Valley. Inside our homes.
We did no such thing.
I totally called it. Mr. Bones was not the guy setting up the cameras. Unfortunately, I did not release the footage of me calling the fact that it was not Mr. Bones setting up the camera until after episode 8 released, so I don't have concrete evidence. Well, so I don't have concrete proof that I called it ahead of time, but I did call it last week that Mr. Bones was not the guy in the chair spying on them. I mean, that sort of creates a plot hole because Mr. Bones was talking like he knew all of their secrets. He was talking about how Yolanda is Wildcat and how Courtney is Stargirl, which, how did he know that? I don't know. But he's not the guy in the chair. In fact, I have already figured out who the guy in the chair is based off of this episode. We'll talk about that later when they show him again. Hang on.
Then how do you know so much about us?
We do our research, yes, but spying on you...
She just said, we do our research. I guess we're just gonna let that plot hole go, I guess. They did a good job of having these people seem like villains, even though they're not.
Courtney Whitmore might have been right. Isolation might not be the answer these kids need. Maybe Helix should form a team of our own.
To me, this episode felt like it was setting up a spin-off with Mr. Bones' team of people with these freakish powers. I looked up if there was a spin-off in the works. I don't think there is. At least they haven't announced anything. I mean, if you have superheroes and good writers, you can make a good show. I think they weren't really setting up a spin-off as much. They were just showing that the good that they've done by coming here and showing Mr. Bones the error of his ways, I guess. So they made life better for the inhabitants of this place, whatever it's called, Helix, or...
So help them. I mean, think about how much different your life would have been had somebody helped you.
Yes, well, who knows?
If there's anything on the planet that can help Todd figure this out, it's not Helix. It's you.
I might have edited some of it out, but Pat convinced the Shade to teach Todd how to control his dark powers.
I'm not so sure.
Oh, then please turn me down.
What a quarter-hearted offer.
I do need to get to New York. It's where Sandy Hawkins is. Wesley Dodd's nephew.
Wesley Dodd's the Sandman?
New York. Fine.
It almost seemed to me like this episode, well, this two-part thing, it almost seemed like this was trying to set up two different spin-off series, one with Helix and Mr. Bones' team, and the other with the Shade and Todd, Ginny, and they just said the name, the Sandman's niece or nephew.
Sandy dreamt about me and
Sandy.
Todd and reached.
Oh, it seemed like they were setting up them to have their own series too, but they haven't announced anything like that. I don't think that's happening.
Right, follow me.
Pat,
Yeah.
how do we get home?
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I know what I need to do when I get back. Not give up on the villains, on my friends, on myself.
It sounds great, Courtney.
Pat?
Yeah. Huh?
What do you...
I'm sorry, it's just I can't shake it.
When he gets home, he's probably gonna ask Mike if he wants to play catch or something. Oh, right. Almost forgot. I wanted to double check to make sure before I said it, but yeah. Welcome to Couple Reviews, where we totally talk about actual couples. This ending completely forgot about Todd's boyfriend. Do you remember him from the opening of episode 7? He was out with his boyfriend celebrating his birthday, and then they got separated when the police... Okay, by the way, now that we know that Mr. Bones is not a villain, I'm guessing that those police officers were actually police officers who are actually doing some good by bringing them to the not bad people. So I guess I take back my insults about them being fake cops. Anyway, Todd got separated by his boyfriend, and they completely forgot about that boyfriend in this episode. They don't bring him up again. They even said, oh yeah, we need to go find Sandy and team up with him, and that's going to be the 3rd, not the 4th kid that the Shade is in charge of now. They completely just disregarded Todd's boyfriend. Which, I mean, he's been in Helix for who knows how long. It's possible that he just assumed that his boyfriend moved on, or maybe he's even been in contact with him in a few small ways to say it's over, or maybe they've visited, I don't know, but what a token thing it was for Todd to be gay in these 2 episodes. If they wanted to have a not straight character on the show, they could have had Yolanda be bisexual. Maybe they could even do like an enemies to lovers thing with Yolanda and Cindy. If Yolanda was bisexual, that would even add to her strained relationship with her parents, who are very Catholic, who are very stereotypically Catholic. Well, they're that kind of Catholic. I'm not gonna say that all Catholics are homophobic. So that would have been nice. Still time for them to do that if they wanted to.
This has left us with one question.
One question, yes.
If Helix hasn't been the one spying on us, then who?
I've figured that out. We'll say why in just a second. Now, to me, it came across as a little bit obvious who he is with what they are about to show. I don't know if everyone's going to think it's obvious. This is the guy in the chair who's been spying on them. And he punches the screen with specifically Rick on it with his super strength. I'm placing my guess right now on who the guy in the chair is who's been spying on them. That is the original Hour Man, the father of Rick. Notice how he singled out Rick with his screen punching, 2, implying a connection to them. 2, he had the hood like Hour Man has, like he's a darker version of Hour Man. 3, he has super strength. He smashed his table with the puzzle on it, and they remarked that whoever destroyed the gambler's trailer had to be as strong as Solomon Grundy, and who do we know who's as strong as Solomon Grundy? Another thing, they've been setting up that if Rick keeps his hourglass on 24/7, he's going to go mad with power. It's possible that the original Hour Man has gone insane with power madness because he's kept his hourglass on this whole time. So Rick is becoming what the original Hour Mountain became. And they also said that Rick's uncle disappeared. It's possible that Our Man killed him, perhaps. So that's my guess for who the guy in the chair is. I mean, it's a little bit obvious with all those clues combined all at once with the hood and him punching the screen, but still, I'm going to take pride in my guess of who the guy in the chair is, and I will brag if I get it right. And I'm going to make sure that this video gets out before the next episode of Stargirl releases, so I'll have actual proof of me calling it ahead of time. So everybody remember that The Romance in Stargirl Part 8 is going to cover Season 3, Episode 9. I hope that's not confusing. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and not be confused.